All right, so now you can hear me. So again, Legal Shield, see Charles Harris, Legal Shield. Definitely, if you do have legal needs or anything like that, definitely try that out. If you're on the Genesis Notary Services, that's in the Winchester, Virginia area, if you do need legal issues, anything like that, definitely go ahead and check that out. Genesis Notary Services, if you are in the Winchester, Virginia area. So absolutely check that out to get that squared away for you. Okay, so let's get to business here. Business of the National Football League is why we're here. And so let's go over it this week. So this is a part of the offseason is what I call is now you had the player acquisition season. If you hear a GM talk, player acquisition season. Offseason, first you do the player evaluation. Right after the season, how good did you do? How bad did you do? Then you go into player acquisition. Once you do your evaluations, free agents, the draft. Now the draft is over. Now we're into the predictions, right? How does it look? All right. How are these teams going to do when we actually start the season? Because now we know, right? We had the free agents in. We have all these guys in. We know what's going on. What is actually going to happen in the our division, the North, the AFC North. AFC North. So what's going on in the AFC North? Let's go ahead and go over that as well and see exactly what's happening in the division. So this is what happens in what's already happened in the division. We'll talk about the records last year, what teams have done in the offseason, how it looks. Now, we're not going to go in order of division winner, etc., but we're just going to go from last to first in terms of who finished last, who finished first, give you an idea. Brian Billick always said, and coaches, Brian Billick, John Harbaugh, a lot of coaches say, first order of business is not to win the Super Bowl, win the division. And so how is your division going to look? And we're going to go over the AFC North as we go forward here. Let's take a look at the Browns. The Browns might be one of the most interesting teams in terms of the draft that we've ever seen. That was probably one of the most interesting drafts in NFL history. They are getting rid of, looks like, Deshaun Watson. So they are moving into a new era. So what do they do well? Picked second in the draft. They moved back to 5, 3-14 last year. What's their strengths? I think they are good on the O-line and the D-line. I think that's actually the case. I think their offensive line, we talk about Benetano, guard to guard. They're good. They don't have an outstanding tackle, but I think they're really good. I think they're going to be effective if they do want to run the football as well. And you figure that. And the defensive line is strong. You got Myles Garrett there. They just got Mason Graham in the draft. So I think offensive and defensive line is going to be good. They were pretty good defensively the year before. So that is it. Now, they do have, obviously, skill position concerns. They're going to be playing a lot of players that have never played. They're going to be counting on rookies heavily on quarterback and running back as well. They do have a pretty good receiver, but their offense is skill in general. And they don't really have – I didn't put linebacker. Linebacker, I think, is a bit of a concern as well. Defensive line is decent, but linebacker, good corner. The concerns on the back end as well. So what did they bring in the offseason? Yes, that is right. That is Joe Flacco, our quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback that we had so many years for the Ravens. He is going to be the starter for the Browns at the start for Willie. They also drafted Gillen Gabriel in the offseason. They also drafted Shedeur Sanders. I think Shedeur was the owner pick, in my opinion, but he is there competing for the starting job. I think if I had to bet, I would think Shedeur is going to start at the start. Quinshon Judkins, all the Ohio State Buckeyes had those two good running backs. So you got Ohio State running back actually going to play in Cleveland, of all places. So that's always a good idea. Mason Graham in the draft, they went ahead and got Malik Collins. I think he talked about the strength of the defensive line. He's going to be playing right next to Mason Graham that they got in the draft as well. Joe Tryon, a couple years ago with the Bucs, they had a good season. They signed him in a free agent, so he's probably going to be their swing guy as well. Probably the best players. Jerry Jeudy had a good season last year. Joe Benetano, I think, has been a staple for them as one of their guards. They've had a good group of interior offensive linemen there for a while. Myles Garrett might be the best defensive end in the entire National Football League. Denzel Ward. Some people were down on him last year, but I think Denzel Ward is still good. Stefanski is going to coach for them as well. So can they restore the defense? Is the question, and they're going to have a million new pieces on offense. They're going to have. I think no matter how it shakes, you might have the third or fourth best quarterback in the division. Regardless, I don't think they're going to have enough bullets in the gun as well. In the future, you might be going in the right direction, but I don't think you, as of this day, right now, you don't have enough bullets in the gun right now in that division. But we will see how the Browns do when the season actually starts. The Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals, I think, I'd like to have seen the Bengals. I'm not a Bengals fan, obviously, but I'd like to have seen them do more. They kind of went pad hand. They did do the one thing they should have done, and I think they retained the two outstanding receivers to long-term deals, which a lot of us didn't think they would do, but they said they wanted to keep Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, and that's what they're going to do. I think that's absolutely the strength of their football team. They're going to throw a lot. They're going to score. You know they're going to score. You know they're going to score. They have those outstanding receivers. They're going to be explosive on offense. I think the offensive line is getting better. Not great, but better. I think Orlando Brown is there. They got Mims in a draft last year. They're going to see. I think they are decent enough. Offensive line. Chase Brown is there. I think they're going to score. Scoring points is not going to be their concern. Can they do anything on defense? They're back in. I've been saying the same thing the last couple of years. Cornerbacks, secondary. I question it. Geno Stone last year, they brought in Cambridge, not impressed. Logan Wilson, decent on the back end. And are they going to be keeping Trey Hendrickson? That's going to be interesting as well. Can they keep Trey Hendrickson in the offseason? He's asked for a trade. It'll be interesting to see if they actually keep Trey Hendrickson. What did they add in the offseason? I think they kind of what they would say is their biggest offseason addition was actually bringing back the defensive their wide receivers, which was big, getting that extension done. Shemar Stewart, I think, is probably going to be the closest to an addition. I don't know if he starts right away, but definitely going forward, maybe he can be a guy to give Trey Hendrickson some help. Sam Hubbard did go ahead and retire. The other draft picks, Demetrius Knight in the second round, Dylan Fairchild in the third round. I like Dylan Fairchild. TJ Slayton. They did re-sign BJ Hill. So they did actually sign their players. With the Bengals, what is so important with them is can they start? They starting slow every year. Last year, they started with a lot of losses. Year before, they started with a lot of losses. They kind of catch up and play well, but that's not going to work in this division. You got to play well from the start. So they didn't really play well from start to finish. They got to play well from start to finish. So as well, who's the best players? We know Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson. If they can keep Trey Hendrickson, that's the one guy on defense that gives a respectability. He's going to give them 10, 11, 12 double-digit sacks. Zach Taylor, I think, is a decent enough coach. I think he's offensive coach, and the offense plays very well. I really kind of mid. I wouldn't put him. He's in a division I think with really, really good coaches. So I think like that kind of hurts him. But I got no problem with Zach Taylor as a head coach as well. They good enough, in my opinion, as far as a coach. You could upgrade, I guess, but I think Joe Burrow's really comfortable with him. They have a good relationship. So I think that's it. The Squealers. They came in second last year. This is the team Pittsburgh, I think, made the most offseason changes out of everybody. So they made a lot of offseason changes, but I think they're going to wind up basically in the same spot they were. What's their strength? We know that Steelers defense. Their pass rush, I think the pair of pass rushers, TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, might be the best pair of 3-4 pass rushers in the league as far as a tandem. So we know they're gonna come at you. They're gonna bring the heat. Their linebacking group. Some of them weren't happy with Patrick Queen. Malik Harrison is going to go there and help them. Linebackers, I think that they do well. They did get Derek Harmon in the draft. Cam Hayward is getting older. They're not worried about the Steelers defense. I think the secondary is probably, if it is one weakness there. But up front, we know what they're going to do. They're gonna go ahead and play well on defense. Offensively, they did make some changes as well. But quarterback, no matter who it is a concern. We're assuming it hasn't been written. We're still writing it in pencil, but we're assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to quarterback the Steelers when they actually start up. Caleb Johnson, a lot of people, it's going to be him or Jalen Warren is the starting running back. Najee Harris is gone. Caleb Johnson, third-round pick from Iowa. That's going to be a good competition there. The huge trade, they didn't have a second-round pick because they got DK Metcalf. I've been calling him Spartacus. They did make a trade for Pickens today, so they sent George Pickens to Dallas. So don't believe they paid Metcalf all that money to have him argue with Pickens about catches. They wanted him to be the number one guy. So that is a concern, being that they don't have both guys. They may have to start. It's possible they could start Robert Woods there. There's talk of that as well. Darius Slay, I don't love this. I mean, this is kind of what they've done the last couple of years. Like Patrick Peterson, guys like Darius Slay, a veteran. I don't know if that's a great idea. Malik Harrison from the Ravens, he could start there as well, certainly be a swing tackle. So this second year in a row, the Steelers take a linebacker from the Ravens as well. Mason Rudolph comes back from Tennessee last year. He may start. And again, Aaron Rodgers hasn't officially signed. The assumption is that they're going to have Aaron Rodgers as the starting quarterback when the season starts, even though he has not, for whatever reason, signed with Pittsburgh yet. Best players that they have: T.J. Watt, DK Metcalf, Cam Hayward. We talked about Micah Fitzpatrick on defense, the back end, and Alex Highsmith. Their defense is going to be first rate. We know this. So the problem is, since Ben is there, thank you. Since Big Ben was there, can they go ahead and muster up enough offense to go ahead and get the job done? But they're going to actually score points. We know this. They're actually going to stop people from scoring. Also, too, at Pittsburgh, has Mike Tomlin finally just wore out his welcome. He's been coaching longer than any other coach in the entire NFL at this point. He's been there a long time. A lot of Steelers fans don't want him there as well. Interesting to see what happens out in the first round. It's been about almost 10 years since they've won in the playoffs. So, I mean, think about that for a second. As great as Mike Tomlin has been, and the Ravens. All right, so Ravens. This is typical Ravens. First in the division last year, 12-5. Skill positions, I think this is probably the best skill Ravens team I've ever seen on paper. They are really good at wide receiver, really good at running back, really good at tight end, maybe the best rooms in the league. Lamar Jackson might be the best quarterback in the NFL if it not been for Pat Mahomes. So they're going to score. I mean, this is not what we see Ravens with no offense. The offense is the strength. The pass rush is going to be what Mike Green in the draft. They were solid last year. A little worried about the defensive depth behind those guys if there are injuries. So that's a concern. Malachi Stark's outstanding in the draft. That was outstanding. Offensive line depth, defensive line depth is incredible. And the big news, obviously, this week, the GOAT is no longer in the building. So Justin Tucker was released, a rookie kicker. As much as you like Tyler Luke, and I'm going to say this about anybody, there's somebody said Justin Tucker, the last time the Ravens won the Super Bowl, they had a rookie kicker named Justin Tucker. You forget about that. Right? There's no such thing as getting a guy to do as well as Tucker's done. Just find the next guy. You're just going to have to live with certain things. You're not going to have what Justin Tucker did. You can forget that. That's probably not going to happen. So we went over the draft. Malachi Starks, good pick in the first round. Mike Green, they weren't expecting him to be there. I think he could be the future of the edge rush. Emory Jones, I think, is going to contribute. He's going to be in the left guard rotation. We talked about Tyler Luke. Javante Walker, definitely he's in that good Colorado, in that famous Colorado Buffaloes team. He's going to be the punt returner. DeAndre Hopkins, I think, just as strictly as a third receiver, that's the way it's going to go. Cooper Rush is going to back up Lamar Jackson. I think that's a huge upgrade. Note Boone from the Rams is probably going to take the place of Pat McCurry, swing tackle. Jake Hummel is there. He's probably going to be just a special teams guy like Chris Board was for them as well. Who's the best? Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton. This is an outstanding team. The problem with the Ravens is not the personnel. They can draft. They have good players. Can you get the job done in January, which they haven't been doing? They have not looked good in the playoffs. They're losing teams they shouldn't lose to in the playoffs. They haven't played well. Lamar hasn't been great in the playoffs. Mark Andrews hasn't been great in the playoffs, etc. That's the problem at the Ravens. Personnel and talent is there. So you're not worried about any of that stuff with there. And there you go. the AFC North division preview. So that's pretty much how the division looks. The AFC North from top to bottom there. And so let's see what happens in the AFC North. How to win your division first before you do anything else. We're all expecting the Ravens to win the division, obviously. But again, two good teams in the division, really. Pittsburgh, you know they're going to be good. You know Cincinnati is going to be good. Cleveland, I think, has got a long way to build. But it'd be interesting to see how much the Ravens can do to go ahead and win their division here. Oh.
These are actually pretty good. This is all new.
All right, sorry about that. So we're back here. So we got the North. We definitely went over the AFC North division. So let's go over the entire league here. So we're going to tier the teams in the offseason as well, because like we said, now we know, right? We know exactly what happened with the divisions. We know what they've done at free agency. We know what all the NFL teams have done. So how good are these teams just predictively here in May, right? So what do the teams look like in the NFL? There are some changes. I think there are some teams now, windows closing, windows opening, who's really good, etc. So who are this team? Obviously, you got 32 teams, so I couldn't do 6 like I do with the baseball. I do just one baseball more often. Football, we do it pretty much in the offseason. There's so much to go over during the season, but we're getting a chance to do it today. Who is elite as of right now? Buffalo, Detroit, Philadelphia, Washington, the Rams, and Baltimore. Baltimore, we just covered that. Baltimore, I think a lot of people think this is the best team in the NFL, the Ravens, with everything we just talked about as well. Can they handle business in the offseason? There's really no more to go over there. Bills, I think, same. I think can they get over the hump of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chefs, in the offseason, as good as they've been? Buffalo, I think, is fantastic. Josh Allen had an MVP season last season. I think defensively, I thought they were much better than I thought they would be. The receivers are developing faster than they thought. Offensive line, Buffalo's really good. I think Buffalo, I think they only, same copy paste with basically what they did with the Ravens. Can they get done against the Chefs in the playoffs? Only question you have as well. Lions aren't going to be as sexy of a pick, but they're pretty good as well. Best quarterback in their division, one of the best quarterbacks, I think, in the NFC, in the NFL. Jared Goff. The run game, I think, we know is going to be great. Offensive line, maybe not quite what it was, but it's still really good. I think their line, especially their tackles are really, really good. Wide receivers are really good. Defensive line, I think on defense, they do need Hutchinson back. I think they had some good fortune last year without Hutchinson, but they do need Hutchinson to come back. I think, though, the Lions, I think, are right there. Philly, I think, won the Super Bowl. Not a lot needs to be said about them on offense. Jalen Hurts, I think, is legit. Stop with the Jalen Hurts. He's got one. He's a legit superstar quarterback in the NFL. The wide receivers, we know. Are they going to keep Brown? They've had some issues there, but Saquon Barkley is outstanding. Their offensive line, I think, is outstanding as well. Defensive line, I think, is front. It's a little young on defense. I think they kind of move some pieces around on defense, so they may slip. There's a chance of that. But historically, they've been good. They got Jair Campbell, so not too worried about that. Putting the Commanders here, I think Jaden Daniels, is the best young quarterback in the National Football League. I do not buy that teams are going to catch up to them. Now, I don't know if they win the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're better than Detroit, in Philadelphia, but they're there. They are definitely one of the better teams in the entire NFL. Defense concerns me somewhat. I actually do like it better than I think a lot of people do. I think it's a little bit older. I think so. That's the issue as well. They're still counting on some other guys, but the Commanders, I think, are absolutely legit. Definitely fighting. And the Rams I like as well. Rams, I think, I really wish Sean McVay liked the draft. That's probably the only thing. They were able to keep Stafford, so you know they're going to have offense. They went ahead and got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. Their offensive line, I think, is good. I think the defensive line is also really good as well. Defense, a lot of no names, but it's sneaky good as well. And I think their division is kind of regressing, so I think they'll benefit from that. So those are the elite team, Super Bowl bubble, absolutely there as well. Solid playoff team. So these teams, be surprising if they weren't teams that were contending for a playoff. I'd be pretty surprised if they weren't at least fighting for playoff position. The Chargers, I almost put them in the elite category. I'm not as sure about Herbert as everybody else. That's the only thing. I got to see a little bit more for Herbert. They're doing everything else fantastic. They got Najee Harris in the offseason. They went ahead and got Hampton in the draft. You know they're going to run the ball. The offensive line, I think, is one of the best ones in the NFL defensively. I do like their pass rush. Tua and Khalil Mack, I think, is outstanding as well. They have great defensive. I think the defensive line is pretty good. The secondary, Derwin James, I think, is fantastic. So, yeah, they're right there. I think the question is, can Herbert win them a playoff game and take the next step? Texans are a solid playoff team. I didn't like what they did with their line at all. I didn't like it at all. I think they got rid of Tunzel. I think that was a mistake. The thing with them, though, is their division is so bad. I don't think they're going to have a lot of problems. I think they're good, but that offensive line scares me a lot with the Texans. I think it's going to be a problem against really good teams. But I think in their division, they'll be a solid playoff team because they're definitely going to win that division. Bengals are going to be there. Bengals are really going to be there for sure. Their offensive firepower, I think, might be the best. They might be the best team in the NFL as far as firepower with Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. They're going to do that. Chase Brown, I think, is a good running back for them. Defensively, they have issues, so I don't know if they're going to stop, and they get off to slow starts. Again, I talked about it just in the division. They get off to so many slow starts. That's not good. Tampa, I think, is very underrated because Baker Mayfield, I think people kind of sleep on him. I mean, I think Baker Mayfield is really become an outstanding quarterback. They did keep all the receivers, which surprised me, but that makes the team even stronger. They got Emeka Abuga, he's Misa in the draft. Jalen McMillan is there. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin is there. Their offense is strong. They got some questions on defense, but again, that division, they should be fine. Packers, I think, are right where they are. Little bit of a regress from Love last season, so that's a concern. That's probably the biggest thing I have with the Packers, why I don't have them. Had he gotten better and gotten to the stratosphere of one of the top quarterbacks, but I still have them kind of in the middle. So it is a bit of a concern. They did go ahead and get some receivers in the draft, which was for the first round, which they never do. Their defense has been strong, will be strong, so we're not worried about that. Denver, I think, is going to be much better. I love the moves they made defensively, getting Greenwald, getting to find the two guys from the 49ers. That is huge for them, really improving that defense. The only thing is you got to keep them healthy. But Denver, I think, should be in contention. They should win. I'd be surprised if they don't win. Bo Nix, I think, is absolutely in the perfect place with the perfect coach. I think this is perfect. He's Drew Brees 2.0. I have no doubt in my mind that Sean Payton will get Bo Nix to develop and take the next step. The Chefs, I think, they're a solid playoff team still, but they're not elite. They have real problems. Chefs have real problems. The offensive line is a concern. I think that what we saw in the Super Bowl is just not going to be a one-off. I think they're going to have problems with it, all that. Now, they have Mahomes. They're going to overcome it. I think they're going to overcome a lot of that. The receivers are really good. The big also issue, besides the line, Travis Kelce's not the same player. I think he probably is looking at retirement after this year. Not clearly the same. He's been good down the stretch, but that's the issue. Defensively, they'll be really good. So I think that's the main reason I think they'll be in the playoffs. But there are real issues on offense. I think it's a bigger drop than what people seem to think because it's the Chiefs. Everybody says you're crazy for saying it, but no, I watched the game. There are issues there. Next tier, possible playoff teams, playoff level. So these teams could contend for the playoffs. Not necessarily in the playoffs, but possible playoff teams. They were competing for the playoffs. That wouldn't surprise me. If they fall off, that wouldn't surprise me. They're probably right in the middle. Bears, Steelers, Dolphins, Seahawks, Patriots, Raiders, Cardinals. Bears, I think there's a lot of buzz. I think it's all Caleb Williams. If he can become what we think he is, everything is laid out for him. He's got Ben Johnson, I think, an outstanding offensive coach. They got an offensive lineman. They fixed that out right away. They're going to go ahead, run the football. Can they do that? Can the defense get better enough to the point to go ahead and do what they need to do? Steelers, I think probably this is where they've been. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is there or not. We know they're going to be good on defense as well. Aaron, can they get a healthy season from him? They seem to have confidence in Mason Rudolph that they've got him back. I don't think either one is strong enough quarterback for them to get farther than wild card or whatever. I think that's about it. So Dolphins, I think some people like them more than I like them. I think New England, I think it might be better, but I think there is they should be a decent team because if they keep everybody healthy, Tyreek Hill, Tua, Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, etc. I think there's enough there where they go ahead and get that done. The line I don't like, but they got to keep Tua healthy. But I think they are in the least hunt. Seahawks, I think they did upgrade with getting Sam Darnold. They did lose some guys on offense, so they did upgrade a quarterback. But I think they probably paid the price because they paid more money at quarterback because that's why they got rid of DK Metcalf. Defensively, we know they're going to be good because Mike McDonald's there. So I think possible playoff team as well. Don't love the Seahawks. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how I super feel about the Seahawks. Patriots are much, much better. They couldn't be worse. So they were bad last year. They've been better. Drake May continues to develop, and I think he should. And Mike Vrabel's there. And Mike Vrabel's, I think, is an excellent coach. I think so. That's definitely just enough right there. They did everything they needed to do in the offseason. They had a lot of money. They spent a lot of money in free agency. They spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of draft picks. We know they're going to be good on defense. So I think they're definitely in the run, and the division is not that good. So they could be there. The Raiders, the only reason I think the Raiders aren't higher is because they are in a tough division with the Chefs and all those other teams we talked about, Broncos, etc. Possible. I mean, the talent is there. Cardinals, I think, kind of same. We don't know what kind of Cardinals team we're going to get. We don't know what Kyler Murray's going to get. We don't know. I think they kind of are Jekyll and Hyde, like the Saints used to be years ago. They're going to hover around 8-8. They're going to win a game where they're not supposed to, and then they're going to lose some. They're going to win a game that gives you hope, and they're going to lose one. It's like, what happened? A little bit of hope. So not completely rebuilding, but there's a glimmer there. Vikings, I think getting rid of Darnold was a huge mistake. McCarthy, I just don't see it. I don't see any reason why you think that McCarthy is the guy. I didn't see it in the draft. I didn't see it. And he didn't play at all last year. So I don't get it. But I think the rest of the team is really good. But even if they had brought back Darnold, I think replicating what they did as well. But they're going to be a good defense. We know that. Colts, yeah, I got no faith in Ballard. I keep saying that. I got no faith in them. The quarterback situation's a mess. They do have some good players. I think Taylor is there. At a little bit of hope. I think also in the South in that division, I think it is as well. Cam Ward, I think, is the reason why you have some hope in Tennessee. I think their offense could be okay. I think you got Ward, you got Calvin Ridley. You got some hope. I'm not, I think it wouldn't completely shock me off the reservation. Dallas, you got more hope than you did yesterday because they just got George Pickens from the Steelers. So you got two really good receivers. Dallas, I looked at them again. I mean, their offensive line, Terrence Steele at right tackle is going to be huge for them. Can he actually solidify that young line that they're building? Defensively, I think there's some slippage. They had a lot of injuries, but they did keep Micah Parsons. They're hoping to get Tavon Diggs back full strength. We'll see. Jags, probably the best player in the draft, Travis Hunter. The hope is you hope that Trevor Lawrence becomes what they're hoping for as a good quarterback, is reversed into a solid quarterback. That's the hope there. 49ers, I think they've lost too much. I think Brock Purdy is good. I don't know if he's elite. Interested to see how he does this year. I think I'm probably as fascinated to see how Brock Purdy does without all that elite talent around him. I do think they got rid of Deebo Samuel. McCaffrey, a lot of his injuries, I think line getting older. Defense lost some pieces. A little bit of hope. I don't think it's a complete loss. Some people have Niners much higher, which I don't understand why you have the Niners higher. Rebuild, last group, Browns. I'm sorry, I just got to repeat. Browns, Saints, Panthers. Browns, Saints, Panthers, Jets. Browns, no quarterback, no rookie running back. Not a lot of hope there. Colts, I think I have a duplicate there, but Colts, I'm topical. Saints, I think, are as good as any team at the bottom. Saints aren't any good. I think like the cap jail, they're just hoping to get out of that as well. Panthers, I think I'm going to call them a rebuild. I mean, they may be better. If Bryce Young gets better, and Bryce Young is getting better as well. And the Jets Giants, no say. Jets Giants aren't any good. That's it for them. So there you go. The tiers. So we went over all the NFL teams there, the tiers, kind of just seeing where they are in the league, kind of seeing what teams are where and what they're doing. So there you go. That gives you an idea of that. So we did promise a announcement for you. And so on June 1st, drum roll, Raven Sports has an affiliate deal with Fanatics. So what does that mean? So you can go to our platforms and then you're going to see Fanatics link that you can buy our Ravens and Orioles and NFL and MLB merchandise right on the Raven Sports, all of our platforms. You're going to see it on every podcast. You're going to see it on our website. You're going to see it on our social pages. All you do is click the link and you can go ahead and get it. So a lot of members, we used to have a lot of the finished stuff. So now we're going to have brand new stuff with Fanatics. So you can go ahead and get that Malachi Starks jersey right away. You can get that Tyler Luke jersey. You can get a lot of that stuff right away. Fanatics. So Fanatics is accepted Raven Sports into as an affiliate. So this opens up a whole lot of information. So now it's just not just stuff it's everything. It's brand new, authentic MLB, NBA. It's fantastic. So we thank all the people at Fanatics. We're still working that out, and we're going to roll it out on June 1. And you'll see on all of our platforms. You're going to see an affiliate link right over there in that corner, right there with the RS with Fanatics on all of our platforms. So, and on Drive and thank you very much, Fanatics as well. So definitely check that out as well. Okay, so Orioles are going on right now. We'll get to the Orioles. We definitely got plenty to say about the Orioles, who are not any good so far this year. So let's talk about the NBA playoffs. So second round is going on right now as well. Knicks losing the second game to the Celtics as well. I think the Celtics kind of got caught flat-footed in the first game against Boston. That didn't surprise me. Celtics kind of had an easy round as well. Knicks, you got to come to play every night. Knicks fired up to play in the first game. I still think the Celtics win this series as well. Good for them getting another game, but they did get a theft. They need to be on point. In the other series in the East, huge surprise. Let's put some respect on the name of Tyrese Halliburton because he was fantastic. Both of the wins over Cleveland. This was the concern about the Cavs. Can they do well with the bright lights on? That was probably the biggest concern I had with the Cavs. Can they play well with the bright lights and everything happening? That is a problem because they're now down 0-2 against a very, very on fire Tyrese Halliburton and as well. Now they're going to have to win 4 out of 5 and the next 2 on the road. So this is the Pacers are really did win 2 really good close games in that series. 121, 112, 120 to 119. Fantastic stuff. I thought that game was fantastic. One of the best ones I've seen as well. 1-0. Golden State over the Warriors, which is a bit of a surprise because they didn't have Steph Curry, I don't think, for a lot of that game. Golden State, I think this is a good matchup for them. I think they because they didn't play the Lakers, I think this is a good matchup for them. And this looked like my concern with the Timberwolves. They looked some nights just inconsistent. They don't always play every night. You can't. I keep saying that. Also, too, in this series, the defensive, it's a huge difference. Like they're playing the Warriors, and especially Draymond Green. I think you could argue he's been the best defensive player in the league since Dennis Rodman. So definitely that's a big deal as well. I definitely like Golden State in this series to go to the finals as well. Nuggets and the Thunder, I think this is the series. I think if this was the boxing, wrestling, this is the last match. This is the main event. These are, I think, the 2 best teams playing against each other. That first game I thought was terrific. Very close, 121, 119, where the Nikola Jokic is fantastic. Breaking news, right? Nikola Jokic, I think, is the best player in the league. I think SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has had the best season this season. So this is absolutely, if you don't watch any of these series, this is absolutely the one to watch. The Thunder, I think, should win this series, but it wouldn't shock me if the Nuggets won because the Nuggets have been there. They've done this before. They used to say with the Houston Rockets, the heart of a champion. That's absolutely true, the Nuggets. So wouldn't surprise me at all if the Nuggets actually won this series, although I do like the Thunder as well. So I think this is the Thunder's time, but I'm sure they wish they kind of had this in the conference finals rather than in the semifinals as well. But this is outstanding stuff for the NBA. So we'll definitely keep it up there as well. So even though my Lakers are gone as well, Nikola Jokic too, it looks like he's been coaching on the sidelines there. Like he's pretty much been the player coach there. So that's very interesting to see Nikola Jokic actually getting that done as well. We haven't seen that in a while, but he's in timeouts. He's making that. So it's unbelievable what's going on there. I think whoever wins in the West is probably going to play the Celtics, if I had to predict it as well. And it'll be a good finals, whatever we actually do get. Entertaining games here. The second round, not this round, is actually it's usually very entertaining. All right. So let's shift to MLB here. We're going to have baseball summer here starting up pretty soon. So we're going to be talking about a lot of our minor league teams, Norfolk Tides, Hagerstown, Flying Boxcars as well. So we're going to be actually talking a little bit minor league baseball here pretty soon. We usually do that right around Memorial Day. But let's go ahead and finish here with this. And who are right now the 5 best teams in the MLB? And as soon as I can load the graphic here.
I'm glad you did, though. Man, I just wanted to say thank you.
Here's a spoiler alert. One of the 5 best teams in the Major League Baseball. Not the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles. It's shocking you, right, that our Baltimore Orioles didn't make it. I know. Y'all look at them, you're like, well, what's going on? Like, I would say this. Orioles for a second. The saving grace of the Orioles, for those of you that are worried about the Orioles, and you should be worried because they haven't played well. But I would say there's a lot of not great in this division. There's one winning team right now in the AL East. There's a lot of teams right around 500. There's a lot of teams that are kind of like Matt. Even the teams here at the top haven't. Nobody's really had a great early May, early May. So it is some hope there in the fact that nobody is really stolen the show when early. So let's go over some of the top 5 teams. Now, it's so close. I do want to honorably mention some of these teams. These teams aren't in the top 5, but they could be at some point. So let's go ahead and go over some of these. Cubs, I think, offensively are really good. They got Kyle Tucker, which is outstanding. You look at the offensive stats, they're leading a lot of the league in offense and offensive categories, especially in the National League. So they're really hitting the ball very well. So they did get Steele out, but definitely keep the Cubs. I think if this was a power ranking, I would for all 32 teams, they keep them 6. San Francisco Giants is next. I'm just not a buyer of the Giants. I'm just not. Their record has been good. They played well, but in that division, I need to see a little bit more. But I definitely think they've gotten off to a good start. Guardians, I think we know what they are. Their bullpen, I think, is top shelf. We know as well. Class A has struggled a little more than we thought, I suppose. But Cade Smith, I think, is fantastic. They kind of are what they thought. I think they're pretty much right there. Phillies turning it around. Not great as a start, but they're definitely turning it around. I definitely think they could be top 5. Yankees. We know Aaron Judge is good at baseball. We know Max Fried is a pitcher. That's about all that's there. These 2 guys are really stealing the show, and they needed it. That's what's the only thing keeping them over 500. I think the Royals have not gotten off to as great a start. Bobby Witt has not gotten off to as great a start, but I think it's definitely possible they could be top 5 at the end of the year. Who's in the top 5? Seattle. Let's put some respect on the name. We talked about respect Tyrese Halliburton. Let's respect Cal Raleigh of the Seahawks. Not the Seahawks, the Mariners. Cal Raleigh, I think, has been outstanding for the Seattle Mariners. We already know how good their pitching staff is. So that's not a thing at all. We know that Cal Raleigh, I think, is at 12 home runs for them. As well. J.P. Crawford has been a good start for them. I don't know how great. We keep waiting for Rodriguez to have this huge breakout, so it hasn't happened yet. But the pitching staff, we know. We're not worried about that. We know Brian Wu has been good here at the start. Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, we know. So we know they're a good pitching staff. I think they can maintain that considering the division and everything they're in. I'm putting Seattle in the top 5 as well. The Mets, the Metropolitans, for those of you who didn't know that, shortened to the Mets, New York Metropolitans. Mets, I don't think it's a surprise that they're in the top 5. They've been booing Soto, but that's just kind of Met fans. Mets, Yankees, Phillies. What do you do? I mean, they just like if it doesn't happen right away. I think they kind of got on them, but the Mets have been good. I don't think there's any question about it. Top 5. Their record is really one of the best in the MLB. 24 and 14. I think Soto, has been not as great as they had hoped right at the start. I mean, he's been really good, but I just, I think the expectations too high. Pete Alonso, I think, has been a good signing for him. He's like 9 home runs here at the start as well. They're going to score runs. We know they're going to score runs. Can their pitching hold up? We will see about that during the course of the year. Senga, I think, at the start has been good for them. Griffin Canning has been good. So Diaz is also looking at with Diaz. Diaz has the best closer entrance in baseball, and I think he's been good for them at the start. Detroit Tigers at number 3. I think this is the best team right now, probably in the American League. We know they have the best pitcher in all of baseball when you talk about Tarik Skubal. So Tarik Skubal, I think he is the best pitcher in all of baseball. No, without the question at this point, maybe without any question, I think, with all due respect to the other guys. So he's been fantastic for them. They are getting it when they need to get it. I'm still not totally convinced that their offense is going to be able to maintain like it's been. So I'm kind of a little bit like the Tigers, but I'm more convinced of that. Spencer Torkelson's been good. Riley Green's been good as well. We know they have that good starting pitching as well. Mize has been good. I'm more of a buyer, but I'm a little bit more wait and see. But what they've done, you got to put them at 3. The Padres, I'm absolutely buying. Now, Padres, I think, have been good for the last couple of years. I think the biggest problem for them is they're in a very, very tough division. But I think we know what they're about. I mean, they have, I think, a lot of great players on that team. Manny Machado is there. Fernando Tatis has had a very good start for them here at the beginning of the season. This looks like what they've really expected for him as well. Xander Bogaerts is there for them as well. They've had to make some pitching off season, so as well. But Michael King and Nick Pivetta have been good for them so far. So that's actually worked. So I was a little concerned about that. We know they're going to score runs. But number 1, yes, world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, number 1. I don't think there's a flaw. I don't see any scenario. I just can't see a scenario where the Dodgers, and I don't think they've been as good as what people say they've been. I think they've kind of struggled, I think, for their terms, but they almost have too many players to struggle. Like Ohtani, 10 home runs, Hernandez hitting over 300, Mookie Betts been solid as well. Muncy, I think, has been kind of struggled as well. Will Smith is like kind of bad. They have so much there. They haven't even used Kershaw really. Also, Yamamoto's been good. Sasaki, not great so far, but Tanner Scott, they're 1. Best team in baseball, no surprise, the Dodgers. All right, so let's talk our team, the Orioles, that have struggled here at the start. Chance McDermott was sent on a rehab assignment. They placed Ramon Rios on the 10-day IL. So they have Kobe Mayo, who has been recalled from Norfolk. Kobe was not in the lineup tonight, but still waiting on his first hit with Kobe Mayo as well. He was outstanding in Norfolk here at the start. So really excited to see what happens with Kobe Mayo. Chance McDermott, again, placed on a 15-day IL from Monday, sent Zach Eflin and Andrew Kittredge to Aberdeen for a rehab assignment. Eflin will be here shortly. So I thought he actually might pitch tonight, but he actually pitched in a rehab game over the weekend. So I think that kind of made him unavailable. But from what I do understand, I don't think I have a graphic. He's going to be pitching against the Angels. So I think that's the way that's going to go. Tyler O'Neill is on a rehab assignment in Norfolk. So getting some of the cavalry back. Had a lot of injuries. I didn't even have it on as much here, as many injuries. So they're getting some of the cavalry back. This is not breaking news. Orioles struggling on offense. 26th in the MLB in batting average. 23rd in runs scored, 28 in total hits, 27th in stolen bases. Not going to work. You don't have pitching, so you need more runs, and you're not getting them. Even now this month, Mullins has struggled. Not getting offense from Gunnar and Adley like they had hoped. O'Hearn's been really good. Mountcastle, I think, maybe pulling out of it, but he struggled terribly at the start. Jackson Holiday, let's get him every day. He's actually been good. But you've had injuries from O'Neal, Cowser, etc. So offense is just not what it was. I'm a little more bullish on the offense getting better because of all the injuries. A lot of these guys that are missing are offensive guys. So I think that is why I'm a little more bullish on the offense as well. Pitching issues as well. 29th in total ERA. Starting pitching in the major, lack of pitching in the major leagues is showing. No pitching is starting. Charlie Morton, I was like, I said it in the graphic. We got to pray for a miracle tonight. So far, we're getting one. They're not winning at present, but they didn't explode him like early. He wasn't great, but at least they got looks like 4 innings as well. But that's not going to work. You can't win games consistently when you have this bad of a pitching staff, especially your starting pitching as well. It's not going to work. So speaking of that, I know we just talked about it a little bit. Zach Eflin should return from the injury list in the series. They didn't say exactly when he's going to pitch. I don't know exactly going to pitch, but we will see there. Ethan Anderson and Michael Ferret were the Orioles minor league pitcher and player and pitcher of the month. So Michael Ferret, especially, keep your eye on him. I think, like we talked about the lack of pitching, I don't think you'll see him at all this year, but I really am a believer. The roll of the dice with the pitching hasn't worked. Scroll up a little bit. The Nationals, so many years. Nationals were a really good team when they were having success, when they were in the playoffs, went to the World Series, won the World Series. They made sure they spent money on their rotation. They let a lot of guys go. They kept Zimmerman all those years, but they let other guys go. But they kept the rotation intact. Okay, the Orioles really aren't doing that. So I'd really like to see them. Okay, we're going to spend money here. You got all these outfield prospects. You have all these offensive prospects, but you don't have any pitching, and it's really showing now. Of all things, a couple more. Used veteran pitcher Charlie Morton out of the bullpen last night. His first shot was shorter than I hoped. Seemed like that's going to be the continued plan for Morton. This is the same graphic I used a couple weeks because it's also true again here. Morton's all over the place. He was starting, then he wasn't starting, etc. Interesting to see exactly what happens with Charlie Morton here. Who is hot here? Not a lot of hot here. But you got to say Jackson Holiday and Mountcastle, good start in the last 7 days at least. They've been really, really good. Charlie Morton, you could plan him here permanently as well. Hasn't done anything for you here all season. I guess he was better tonight. 4 innings and 3 runs, I guess. But Sir Anthony Dominguez has kind of been low key. He's been struggling, but he hasn't been good in the last week here. And Cedric Mullins, after the good start, you could put him on that list as well. The other one I had on the hot, believe it or not, and I'm just going to type it in here real quick, was Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson, I thought, has been showing signs here lately of actually getting back to what we know of Gunnar as well. This week, we talked about the Angels series. They're going to play in Los Angeles to go play the Angels and play in Minnesota against the Twins, and also to Mount Batista is the player of the week. The problem is you got to get him in the game. Like, you're not scoring enough runs to get him in the game. So keep the faith, Oriole fans. We're gonna keep covering. We're gonna keep talking about the Orioles, of course, next week, and we're gonna talk more about our new agreement with Fanatics So we're very, very happy about that, our new agreement. Thank you so much for watching the Ravery Sports Podcast. You have an awesome rest of your day.